This will hurt. This will hurt.
I really do like the atonement combo that Paladins have. It looks pretty cool. I like the fact that they even have an atonement combo. Because like before it was just atonement, you just attack, do atonement 3 times. It's kind of boring, you know. But so I do like that they have it's added some variety to that.
Behold the heavens' brilliance! Oh, radiant starlight, become my blade!
Try this! All that I have and more I bring to bear! underestimate me! Behold the heavens' brilliance! You underestimate me! underestimate me! Make ready!
Try this! Try this! Try this!
Make ready!
Try this!
Damn, I don't know why they took so long to to shoot off that burst. But yeah, so I guess 22 minutes and 30 seconds seems to be kind of my. Maybe I could push a little harder. I think there were a few instances where I could have pushed a little harder. But even still, maybe 22 minutes might be the cap. The shortest I can do as a tank. I can't remember what I did as DPS. Just one sec. Looks like something came up real quick. I just need to finish that up, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Oh, since it's a DPS Alliance raid too, which is not completely uncommon, but still not super common. Because like you need a lot of DPS for it, but far more often than not, you still have a tank or healer in need. Simply because there's just so many more DPS classes, and DPS classes in general are just easier to play. All you gotta do is do damage. You know, you're not beholden to anybody. Yeah, like no pressure really. It's like all you have to do is keep yourself alive, which every class has to do anyway, and then do damage. You know, keep yourself alive and hit buttons, which is what every class does. But DPS just doesn't have any responsibility. You know, you don't have to keep aggro. You don't have to keep people alive. So, and then of course there just are flat out a lot more, right? Sure, there's four. Like even if you combine them together, you know, there are almost more melee classes than there are tanks and healers combined. Now, obviously, you know, it's 8 versus 6, not a huge difference, but like if you think about it, it's 6 here, 4 here. That's 13 versus 8. So there's 5 more DPS classes. And it's not even simply like, oh, well, there's more DPS classes, therefore. Like, that's assuming that everyone chooses a class purely by random chance. You know, if it's just like, oh, okay, I rolled a 13-sided dice. No, wait, no, it should be. I rolled a 19-sided dice. Sorry, yeah, it was 13 plus 8. Or no, 21, I guess now, because it was 19 before. I was thinking 19 because that's how many Endwalker relic weapons there were, but now there are 2 new classes, so it's 21. So you're rolling a 21-sided dice, and whatever it lands on is the class you play, right? If it's complete random chance like that, then yeah, like, sure, you know, you could get some balance, but like the idea is that there are going to be people who just don't like. There are people who just don't like playing healers. People who just don't like playing tanks. But like, I don't think tanks or healers are really against. Like, I think it's like one thing where tanks and healers, or there are DPS who do not want to play either a tank or a healer or both, right? They're just like, oh, I can't handle that. I wouldn't want to handle that. I just really don't want to do that, right? But tanks and healers, I don't think, and obviously I don't know, because like, I don't know literally everybody, but I think it's less likely for tanks or healers to not want to play DPS classes. It's just that they prefer to play tanks or healers, right? So they'll prefer to play tanks or healers, but it's not like they're against playing DPS, whereas I think there are far more DPS who are against playing tank or healer versus tanks or healers who are against playing DPS. So you're just going to get more, tank people who are tank healer mains who also dabble in the DPS side, and a lot less DPS mains who dabble in the tank healer side. But obviously, like that's a gross generalization. I have no clue. I have nothing to base this on. It's what I think makes logical sense, but obviously, like, does it actually make sense? Who knows? No one knows. Actually, fuck it. I might as well just go to Urkpot to do a fade or two. I thought it would pop kind of more instantly. I am cute at number 4, but I feel like number 4 is going to take a little while to pop. I could probably get a fade out. Ooh. Bonus experience? Fuck that. Fuck yeah. I mean, not fuck that. Fuck yeah. That's what I'm going to go do. Because I think the Alliance really gives a percentage of your current level. I think all roulette rewards give you a percentage based on percentage of your current level's required experience to level. So the max required experience to level. It takes a percentage of that. And it depends on the duty itself. Okay, let's see. Oh shit, this looks like a... Wait, what? Oh, I see. Oh shit! I didn't realize it'd be like this. Okay. God damn it, it's so fucking annoying. Every fucking one of them fucking aggroes me the second I get remotely close to them. It's like, oh, you move out of the way, there's the AoE, and then 500 other guys aggro you. Dude, fuck off. This is so fucking annoying. Jesus Christ. Fuck, that was annoying. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, you have to move out of the way. Great, awesome. So you move out of the way. And then it's like, oh yeah, every fucking other one just who happens to be right next to you attacks you. And all these ridiculously fucking huge AoEs make you have to get so far out of the way. It's like, don't do humongous AoEs. Oh god, of course and of course that piece of shit is walking straight towards me. Oh, thank god. It's like, I mean, obviously I didn't die, so, like, great. Because, like, I do have good stats. Like, I have stats that's pretty good. But it is just frustrating when you're just, like, you're trying to, like, do it one at a time, maybe a few at a time. You're like, yeah, I can do a few at a time. But then, like, you're forced to move because of the ridiculously huge AoEs they have. And then just even moving slightly, it's like, oh, whoops. Now you got aggro. And why is he not fucking healing me? Like, I'm not fucking full health. Why am I not fucking full health? You are literally told to be... Oh, that's why. He's in free stance. Okay, never mind. That was good. I had set him to healer stance previously, and I guess I mistakenly assumed he would stay in it. Because why would he leave? I told him to be in a healer stance. Why would you leave healer stance after I said it? Oh, I see. I don't need That's kind of cool. I don't need to manage that bit. I just what the fuck was that? It's like, why is he getting in range? I kept button mashing my attack and it was not hitting him because he, for some reason, backed out of the way to get out of range. I think what happened is that he, oh my fucking god, so these fucking AoEs are so fucking annoying. Okay, let me get that right here. There we go. Leveled up. Nice. Oh wow, 32 colored jump stones. Nice. Oh, there's another fate. Is there another fate? Oh, is it like kill this dude? Yeah, it's kill that dude. Okay. Roll waiting number 3? Yeah, I could probably enough time to do this one too. Okay, let's remember how to use my class again. Oh, that's the glide. Whoops! I thought that was the jump. The jump is over there. Okay, whoops. That's my gap closer. Which is good that it's there. Like, it's not like I had it in the wrong position. That's a good position to put it. That's where my jump was. So I was like doing it, thinking, oh, I'm not doing my jump. But no. How am I? Oh, I'm missing. Oh, yeah, I forgot that I was thinking I was high enough level. I forgot that I'm not, actually not. I'm high enough level for the lower level, the ones that are lower down. But because I'm not lower down. I'm in the above one, which is a 93 level, a level 93 fate. Now, it is kind of annoying that I'm still missing, because it's like, what? Like, oh wait, no, he's level 93 too. Oh, because he's the boss. Okay, yeah. Normally the mobs are like a few levels lower than you. In a fate, so the fate's level 93. Usually, the mobs are like 90 or 91 maybe, which is why the level I am. So you think. There you go. I'm on. Nice. So I was thinking, oh, yeah, it should be fine, right? Like, and I actually did level up in the last phase, so I was a 91. So I'm like, oh, I should be fine. But then I saw a few misses. I'm like, oh shit, they programmed it so you never. I don't think you miss ever if you're at level. If you're at the same level, you always hit. And they just added missing for lower levels just to make it a little like to kind of stop you from cheesing it, because that's kind of how you power level a blue mage. Did you take a blue mage? I mean, it's also because they removed accuracy. Before when there was accuracy in the game, they did do that, and it sucked. I'll also go over there and see if I can do a fate again. Yeah. So I joined this thing thinking, oh, it'll be super quick. Less than 5 minutes, requiring DPS, should be a quick queue. Here we are, 13 fucking minutes at number 2, so I'm not even next. So not only, that's fucking annoying. You know, obviously it's a percentage, or not a percentage, it's an average. It's averaging the amount of time other things have taken, but it does fucking blow when you base your shit off of the average, and then you get fucked by it. Because, I mean, to be fair, if it did actually pop, I would have been, like, I would have missed that fate. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. So, like, yeah, here we go. I'll try to... I'm kind of hoping someone else fucks up and doesn't queue while I get this fate done. It seems like that's not going to happen. I don't need much time. Oh, there we go. Nice, made it. God, I was the only one. Every single one. After a 12-minute wait, every single one was ready. Like, that was unexpected. I was not expecting that to happen. I was expecting, you know, if it's like a super quick, I mean, even for like a super short one, right? Or it insta-pops. And I get, like, as a tank or healer, if it insta-pops, there still could be DPS who have been waiting in the queue for 20 minutes and have left and done something. But, like, for a queue like this, where I'm a DPS in need, and it takes 12 minutes to load, that means, like, a bunch of other people were waiting 12 minutes as well. So it's crazy to think that every single one of them was instantly ready. Okay, so Ritterana, this will be interesting. He has Construct 8, Prime Boss. I haven't actually done this one in a while. Usually Rabinaster is the one that gets picked. Rabinaster or a Bond. It's rarely ever the middle one. Interesting. So Nordstrom, actually no, maybe, do I only get a certain number of them, or is that a time thing? I think it might be a certain number. Because it seems like the cooldown for it is ridiculously fast, but then I still ran out. Oh yeah, I did see a counter on it. Okay, so I have a certain number of uses for it. Got it. Okay. So I can get my Nordstrom. My Nordstrom. I think I get like 3 uses per use. Oh, I only get 2 of them. Interesting. I thought I got 3. Maybe I get 3 at a higher level. Maybe there's a trait that increases it later. Oh yeah, I forgot. Keep forgetting to turn on my sound again. Oh my god, what a fucking moron! That was the group together, and this fucking retard ran away from me for no fucking reason, just so he could attack like a fucking idiot! Holy shit, that was fucking dumb. Like, I run to him, I'm on him, and then he runs away for no fucking reason other than to be completely fucking stupid. And I get it, right? Well, first of all, like, I think we've seen that. There we go. We've seen it before. Oh, fuck. God damn, I should have died for that. That was bad. We all grouped in the worst spot for that. Stupid us. Oh my god, stop moving through the fucking boss with your AoE! Like, get the fuck out of the AoE you need to and stop fucking moving! Like, that's the problem is when you get dumb people. Who just like... Because, like, the problem is there's lag. There's, like, 3 second... Not really 3 second lag, but there's, like, a second or 2 lag. So, essentially, whenever, like... So those instances where it's like you're running away and it feels like the guy's following you, actually from their client, it's the exact opposite way. So from your client, you're like, oh my god, why is this guy following me, right? But from their client, they're thinking the exact same thing. They're just like, why the fuck is this guy following me? It's because, yeah, like, that's what's happening on their end. From their end, it looks like you're following them. So there is that kind of problem where it's just like, oh shit, yeah, I get it, right? They're trying to avoid you, but like, they're trying to avoid you from a second ago, and you're trying to avoid them from a second ago, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, and that's for the AoE shit. Now for the other one, that was fucking dumb. Like, we have the gather markers. He runs. We were grouped together, and then he runs away. Like, and it'd be one thing if it's like, oh, well, that's where I was, so he's trying to catch a second ago me. It's like, no, I was never even at that location. So he's just moving around like a lunatic for no reason other than to be stupid, and then got us both hit because he's an idiot. So yeah, but this is an MMO. This is what happens. You know, some people are morons. But to be fair, I do think that AoE doesn't appear that often. Now, it does appear often enough, where if you play the game, you've seen it multiple times. So most people know what the fuck's going on. But then again, because this is old content from Stormblood, you know, who knows? Maybe this guy doesn't play the game that much, right? Maybe the guy, this is the first like dungeon he's run. Like maybe because technically those markers also did exist in Heavensward, I believe. So in the previous Heavensward Alliance raid, so I think. So if he was doing Alliance raids in order, he should have come across them, but like, I don't know, it's hard to tell. But yeah, I mean, it just happens. It's an MMO. First of all, like, it's an MMO, so there are people, and people are stupid for the most part, you know? So yeah, you can get a smart person. And it's unfortunate no one else was there, so I couldn't group with them. And the even worse thing is he left at the last minute, right? So he was just running away like an idiot to a place where I never was, so he wasn't even trying to do the mechanic correctly. And then he moved right at the last minute, so I couldn't react and get to him in time. So we both, and I was there. Like I ran after him, but because he was an idiot, that's just what happened. It is what it is. I mean, I do get 3. Maybe, yeah, I guess I do get 3. And I'm just button mashing the first one immediately. But I really probably shouldn't. I really need to weave it. Like, there were times where I was just like button mashing them. I'm like, no, I should be weaving. I should be, because I have time to do all 3 of them, so that's kind of cool. I do like that change. That's kind of cool. Okay, well that was dumb. Our tank's a moron. Like, I had no clue who aggroed him and then pulled him towards the other one. But like, the problem is like, maybe that was our tank. Maybe our tank's an idiot and pulled to the wrong spot. It's weird because like the spots are essentially always the same. It's always A, B, C from left to right. And A is either going to be in the bottom left or the top left corner. Shit, let's see. People are going to fuck this up probably. Okay, cool. That one's a tough one because anyone can fuck it up. So if someone sees, someone's going to go touch that. Oh, I'll go touch it. But then it's like, oh shit, because you touched it, you now have it pointed towards us, the entire group. Because you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you touched it when you shouldn't have. Oh, cool. We can stay in the center again. That's convenient. Why the fuck are you going in the way? Jesus Christ, some people are fucking dumb. Like, that's what I am the most critical of, is when you get people who do the stupid thing when the easy thing works, right? Where it's like, oh, all you have to do is stay in the center where everyone already was. All you have to do is not move. That's it. Stay in the center and don't move. So I'm far more critical about the people who can't do that. Where it's like, okay, you had one job, and that was to not move, and you can't even do that. Let's see. Cool. Oh wow, yeah. We painted the corners. That's nice. We have some people who know what they're doing. It's one of those things where, yeah, like if someone doesn't know what they're doing and they're going in and touching it, if lots of people are trying to go in to like correct someone like that, eventually, it gets fucked up, and it ends up with them just like, oh, whoops, everyone was overcompensating to try to undo someone's mistake, which ends up having it pointed towards us, towards the group, and fucking them over. It's the same thing that actually can happen in Dune Sky, is that there is a boss, the Ferdinand boss, where he gives you he reduces your elemental resistance, either fire or ice, and what you have to do is you have to touch a lot of these puddles, because whatever the most number of puddles are, so if you have all the puddles as water, then it'll do water damage. So when he says, oh, your fire resistance has been reduced, you want to make sure all of those little puddles are water puddles instead of fire puddles. But the problem with that is anyone who walks over the puddle will swap its element. So if people don't know what they're doing and they see people like getting on puddles, some people will be like, oh shit, yeah, they're getting on puddles. I should touch puddles. And it's like, no, don't touch puddles if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So that's kind of what happens sometimes. Is you get these people, and then of course, like everyone's like, "Oh shit, I gotta go compensate for it." So like, I gotta go touch the puddle because this guy touched the puddle. So now that's what I gotta do, right? Which it's actually tougher for those type of puddles because it's like one or the other. There's one good state, one fail state. Luckily, like you need a lot of the puddles to be the wrong one to do enough damage to fuck you over, but it still is kind of, you know. The fuck? I was gonna say, like, how the fuck did I take so much damage? I was like, oh yeah, because I have aggro on that guy. Realistically, what we should do is all of us should focus on one or two and leave the third one alone. Because if they get to us, after like a minute or maybe 30 seconds, they get this, they tether to a thing and become less vulnerable. So if you focus on one or two, you'll do enough damage to kill them before they can do that, and then everyone can focus on the terminal that the remaining one is tethered to, and be quicker. If you split damage, it's likely that all three of them won't die and will tether, and now you have to destroy the machines that's tethered to them, and then you can destroy the machines. Ends up taking a little longer. Doesn't really matter though. Like, it's whatever. Oh, I only have one of the groups. One of the what's it called? It's Wing Glide. I think I get another charge later. I assumed I had another charge. So I was like, oh, let's go. Well, I wasn't going. Yeah, this guy appears in the Boston Southern Front, and in the Southern Front Fate, holy shit, he's so much more annoying. So he does that frontal AoE charge as he rotates, but simultaneously he does a back AoE charge as well. So he's doing a frontal cone and a back cone at the same time as he rotates around. So you have to stay directly behind him. Or not behind him, I mean, you have to stay directly on either one of his sides and rotate with him. Okay, so I'm one. Okay, shit, so I need to be 5. Got it. I need to be 4 over here. Oh, good, 3. I can stay close by. That was the tough one. Is the other one that I had to be super far away from him. And the interesting thing is, like, so we see this, and as part of the actual quest line, what ends up happening is we beat the thing, and we actually see the Garleans show up after the fact to like pillage shit. So that was kind of cool, is that you have this continuity, because so the idea was that we beat Construct 8, and then we see the Guardians show up at Ritterana after we like do our shit, and then what happens is that we go into Southern Boston Front and we see an identical copy of them. He's Construct 7, Construct 8 is what appears, and there's also a mount that you can get from the Southern Boston Front. So it's kind of interesting that they're like, oh, cool, you know? There is that continuity where, like, yeah, we see the Guardians come in and you know, start checking him out. You know, the Guardians are here to check him out, and then they make a copy of him and put him on the Southern Boston Front. So that was kind of nice little continuity in the game. Okay, there we go. I don't remember where that is. And that was the other thing too, is that there was also a bunch of other of the, you know, they brought in Hazmat, they brought in a copy of Hazmat. So like Southern Boston Front had a bunch of the bosses from the Evil-Ace Alliance raid, but they were different and actually much harder, and it was really cool. Like, Southern Boston Front was really interesting, right? Like, yeah, sure, it's a grind, whatever, right? But like, I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Okay, I have the number 6. I need 7 to be a prime. I'm 5, I'm 6. God damn it, that's fucking annoying. So basically, as melee, the 2 choices I get to satisfy the requirements are the only 2 choices that are not within melee distance. Like, that's fucking annoying. You know, like, come on, like, really? As melee, you fucking me over and I can't even be melee? Yeah. Because there are people who just don't want to engage with a season, or they don't have to.
The Empire is a cancer! And I am the barber's blade. I'll tear you limb from limb! Escape this! Agony and sorrow! Your suffering is not yet over.
Okay, now I think he's shown every single mechanic. Now he'll start to layer them. That's how pretty much every boss works. Is that like, oh, there's a mechanic? Okay, we'll show you how it works. And then we're going to show you, you know, now we're going to have this mechanic and that mechanic go on together. Oh, whoops, I was on the right side. God damn it. Stupid me. And unfortunately, I realized I was on the wrong side, but then moved too slow. But basically, you need to be the opposite side. So essentially, it sticks you to the ground. If you're floating, that gust will float you into the air, and you take damage, like I did, like a moron. So it just is what it is.
Your suffering is not yet over. I'll tear you limb from limb! Escape this! Your pain is my pleasure. You will not have mercy. Your suffering is not yet over. Agony and sorrow.
Oh, was I a little too close? I was a little too. Wait, no, was I too close? Yeah, I think I was. I think was I. Did they refresh my debuff? I'm not sure, but yeah, I think I was. I thought I was inside, but I guess I need to be. Like, I was on his ring. I was on the ring, so I guess I need to be properly inside. That's unfortunate.
You will pay for what you have done with blood!
Why is it like? Oh no, see, no, he has tank stance on. I have no clue why he can't seem to hold aggro to save his life. Essentially, once you let the main tank have aggro, if you don't want to be the main tank aggro guy, then what you should do is after like the first like 10 seconds, put your tank stance back on. Because like once you've lost it a little bit, you're not going to get it again. Okay, now he should be. Oh, wow, I took a lot of health. Yeah, he's tough because like the first chunk of his health, his first like 80%, first 20%, he loses health so slowly. You're like, oh my god, this fight's gonna be forever. But then like once his ads are gone, like look, he has like 20%. So like maybe he lost his health, some of his ads, I forget. But yeah. I mean, I would say fight design in this game is really, really good. It's really cool. Bosses are interesting. Bosses are fun. Some can be challenging. That is the kind of problem we get a lot of people who are just like, oh, I don't like, because like that's kind of what happened with the people. They were just like, oh, like, so they were like, oh, the fights are going to be a little harder, right? Did I get a full level? Because I leveled to 91 with the Fate, and then I took another Fate, and it looked like that leveled me up again. So I went from 91 to 92 in one alliance raid. That's surprising. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. I like that fight. But yeah, like, and the whole Endwalker thing, or no, the Dawn Trail thing, it was like people were like complaining about how difficult like the dungeons were, and it's like it's one of these like catch-22 things where it's just like you can never make everybody happy. Like you just can't, right? Because like the hardcore raiders, the people who know how to play the game, the hardcore raiders, the people who know how to play the game, they want a challenge, right? Whereas the more casual people, they don't want that challenge. And so it's kind of, what they do is they're like, okay, well, you don't want a challenge, cool. That's what the normal dungeons are. Dungeons are not super challenging. It's kind of like how they've done the raid system too. So the normal raids are not super challenging. They have some challenge to them, right? They're not like walk in the park. You can't like just ignore mechanics or anything like that. But they're not like so mind-numbingly difficult. Like, a wipe or two and you should get it, and then pretty much after that everyone gets it. Relatively intuitive, right? Yeah, 92. Holy shit, that leveled me completely up. Why did that give me so much experience? Like I did one fate beyond, I did 2 fates beyond that, so that might have gotten me 1 million. But like this would have had to still give me like 13 or 14 million to level, which is typically not how these work. I got 10 million experience. How did that take? Oh, okay. Oh, rested experience. So I got 10 million, 10.7 million, plus that, which would make it 11.5 million, plus another 100,000. 11.6. Like, I need 15 to level. So I'm like a few million short. Even if I needed like 14 million to level, I didn't get 3 million. I wasn't that close. I thought I just barely leveled above into 91. I mean, I'm not complaining. That's great, I'm just a little surprised. I was not expecting the level. I was kind of expecting somewhere around like 50% of the experience I need to level. Maybe that one in particular, or maybe they do a scaling thing where it's like, oh, however much experience it, or however much time it takes you to do it, they give you a percentage of your level based on the amount of time spent, perhaps. I'm not sure. But, anyway. But yeah, it's one of those tough things where it's like, you get the people who really like challenging raids and stuff, who want to like every aspect of the game to be challenging, and they want like And so, like, not only do they want their, the raids to be mechanically challenging, but they want the classes as well to be challenging, where it's like, where the classes have, like, multiple builds, where you have to, like, min-max this and that, and you have a complicated opener and all that stuff, and it's like, it's that kind of like, I prefer the way they currently do it, where they just make classes more homogenous, and they make the fights mechanically more challenging. So you can focus on the mechanically challenging fights instead of the. Let's look at that. You can focus on the you can focus on the mechanics and not have to like worry too much about these fine-tuned. Oh, whoops. You can focus on the mechanics and not have to worry about being like min-maxing your thing. And oh shit, I messed up my opener. Now I'm going to do like 50% less damage, something like that. Nothing that complicated. I prefer it the way they're doing. But yeah, you can't ever please everybody. Everyone has their own level of like what they consider difficult or challenging. And so you'll get the people who are like, yeah, I find like the mechanics really challenging and I want all aspects of the game to be challenging, but like they're the 1% of people and you shouldn't design the game for that. And cuz like even if you don't give them even if you don't give them exactly what you want exactly what they want, they'll still be satisfied with like a lot of the other shit. So it's like there is no point in pleasing them, because by pleasing them you'll make a lot of people unhappy, but by not pleasing them and pleasing the rest of the people, it's not like you'll make them unhappy. Now they might criticize you and be like, oh man, I wish I had this, and yeah, you will definitely get the people who are just like unreasonable about it, where they're just like, oh wow, this is actually still worth something. You'll get the people who are unreasonable. It's their way or the highway. They will not accept any other things. Everything has to be their way. Their way is the best way. That kind of shit. Which is like, not really conducive for an actual discussion. But there are just people like that, who just like want what they want, and it's like they want. That kind of is what kind of is tough for those kind of people, because it's like they want what they want. And that's it. Like they don't accept any sort of compromise. Like they want that, and the game is bad. But rather than like looking for a game that has what they want, they try to change games that don't have it into games that do have it to satisfy their thing, to satisfy themselves at the expense of others. Right? Like I think open world PvP in WoW is an incredibly good example. There are people who like open world PvP in WoW, right? There are those people. But the people who like open world PvP and WoW are the people who derive enjoyment from fucking over other people. Where their sense of accomplishment comes from they only have fun when other people are not having fun. Them killing people. And it's not like they're like looking at someone on the open field and they're like, cool, I'm gonna start a Makara and fight this guy. It's like no. They're sneaking around, waiting for a newbie to pass, and then killing them from the shadows, and then laughing about it, right? Like they're sneaky little shits, right? They're just ganking people. And it's like, it's not a challenge. It's their only enjoyment is in that other people are not having fun. They are deriving joy from screwing over other people. And obviously that's a self-destructive. Like, you can't have a game, you can have games founded on that, sure. Like there's Mortal Online 2, I think, is still around. But like if you actually look at the active player count of Mortal Online 2, it's like 1,000 people maybe? I mean, which is not bad for what it is. But like, it will never be big because people just don't want that shit, right? Like, it's just not fun. You're only deriving fun at the expense of other people, and that's, and two, like the people who are demanding challenging raids and challenging content are not exactly like that. They're not exactly like that, but that's Goldsmith. I thought that would be I thought that was going to be a carpenter. So they're not exactly like that. It's not like they derive joy from other people suffering, but they do like a level of challenge that most people don't. And by trying to force the game to have it, they'll make a game that less people will enjoy. And while they personally might enjoy it, you're just going to get less people, and which will eventually just lead to the destruction of your game, because less people will want to play your game because it's just not as accessible and not as enjoyable for the average person. And with less people playing, then you're going to have, it'll be harder for you to queue and do content. you'll just drive away new players, so the game will eventually die. Because like no MMO maintains its population forever. Like they're just people who just are done with the game, who just don't have the time anymore to play an MMO. So people who used to be able to play the game can no longer play it, and so you have to have an influx of new players to replace the ones that are just you've just finished with gaming, finished with this specific game, just have other things to do. Might come back later, but like just aren't playing right now, and maybe won't come back again. You need new players to essentially replace those people to keep an ebb and flow. Generally, trying to keep it going up and up and up. So that's why while making harder content won't instantly fail the game, it'll just make it less accessible, and so the number of new players coming in and playing the game will start to decline, or it just won't. It'll start to not match the rate of people who are naturally leaving as part of any sort of game. And then the game, quote unquote, dies. And a lot of people, a lot of the hardcore raiders, if you see especially the raider stream people, yeah, they understand that. And while they might say, "Oh, I wish they did this, I wish they did that," they will also know that the game can't survive with that. I think Xenosis, I think, is pretty fair about that shit. Where he's just this is what I'd like, but I understand that the game just would, be worse if it was made the way I wanted it. And so, there's just a lot of people who just don't have that kind of self-awareness, where they're just oh, okay, this is what I would prefer, but I understand that the game would die if it was like that. Or not die, but it would just it would start a slow decline. And so you kind of got to think of what's best for the game, and that's why when people were complaining about other content, people were complaining about Island Sanctuary. It's well, yeah, but Island Sanctuary is not going to be for everybody. And sure, maybe it just doesn't appeal to a majority of people, but I think it's good to have that content because it's going to appeal to some people, and I do think it does also provide something useful. Because Island Sanctuary allows you to place outdoor furnishings. So basically, one of the big complaints about people with apartments, which is essentially instance housing in the game, which people complain that the game doesn't have, but it totally does. And I do understand that. Sure, yeah, it does have instance housing, but it's only small rooms, and so there's no apartments that are essentially mansions, the large homes on the inside, which I think they should do. But we just don't have it at the moment. So I do get it. So I do get that that's it doesn't have but that would be the fix, right? If they ever made apartments where they have just large homes inside the apartment, then boom, that is instant housing. People shouldn't be able to complain anymore. And until that happens, I can understand. But technically, instance housing does exist. But people want the outdoor; they want the front yard. But why do you want the front yard? Well, the only reason you want the front yard is so other people can see it. Because instance housing in other games, no one goes to. I play ESO. No one goes to your home, right? No one goes inside your home because no one knows its existence. It's just the good thing about the way they do it here is that when you go into a ward, you can see everyone's home, go into everyone's home. If you want to wander around home, that's so cool. But if everyone had instance housing, you couldn't do that. Sure, they could just leave things open, and yeah, sure, the housing boards, you would maybe just have you directly go into one, and that's it. But without a front yard, the front yard really is a key aspect of it. And I think if we just did instance housing, it wouldn't be as cool as other people are saying. In fact, island sanctuaries are essentially instance housing. Island sanctuaries are essentially instance housing, and they for outdoor furnishings. And so that's the cool thing, is that now there actually is a place to put outdoor furnishings. So if you have So yeah, so like, so I think the solution would of course be to make apartments that have medium and large homes on the inside, to let people to do all the shit that they want to do. I think that is the solution. Um, but I still think people will complain because while people say, oh man, we want instance housing, the only reason they want instance housing is because they don't have housing. And the second you provide them instance housing without a front yard, they'll complain about that. Because what they really want is they really want a large home in an instance, in a ward, with other people that can see their front yard so they can show it off. That's what they actually want. Because if it was purely about decoration, they would have an apartment. They'd just decorate an apartment. And decorate apartments for every single one of their alts if they have them. But maybe, I do get it. Like, small homes are small homes. There's not much space. So I get that if you want to decorate a large home, create a meeting room for a lot of people, or like for an FC, right? If you have an FC and you want your FC to have a large home, you can't easily do that. So I get that, right? I understand. That's why I think instance housing for apartments with all types would be good. But like, yeah. So, but the point is, though, is that like what I really like about Island Sanctuary is that so people might find it grindy. I think the grind is fun. I think I did enjoy it. Yeah, sure, it's grindy, but like there are people who like that type of grind, right? I think it looks really nice. I thought the quest was interesting, and the really cool thing is now you have a place where you can have all your minions out and about, and you have animals and shit like that. So it's like you have all these cool things and a nice place to meet. And essentially, it is instance housing. You can invite your friends. Now, there's a limit to how many people you can invite, but I think that limit will eventually go away as server technology becomes better. And then you also, in addition to having your minions out, you can actually put a lot more outdoor furnishings. Like even with a large home, you only have like 30 slots outside, and that fills up so quickly. If you can, especially when you consider how many outdoor furnishing items there are. There are so many really cool outdoor furnishing items, and you just literally cannot place them all. And even if you want to say, oh, I'm going to take the coolest ones, there's easily over 30 coolest ones, right? So like that's the problem, where there just are too many good things. Go on, it's time before I go shower off. But yeah, so that's the cool thing. So now the Island Sanctuary provides you a place where you can place a lot of the outdoor furnishing items, even if you had a large home that you couldn't place in there. Now you have a place to put them, and now people who don't even have homes have a place to put outdoor furnishing items. Even if they have an apartment and they were able to put their indoor furnishing items, now all the outdoor furnishing items you've gotten from events and shit, you have the Island Sanctuary, and everyone gets it. So not only do you have instance housing on the inside, but you have instance housing for outside stuff too. God damn it, I missed it. It's a little too slow. So that's why I'm a little critical about these people, because it's just a bunch of people who are just there to whine and bitch about just not getting exactly what they want. Like they want a large home and that's it, and it's the game's fault. And it's like no, like there are monetary limitations about like if they had unlimited money, sure they would probably do unlimited rewards, a house for everybody, large home for everybody, right? But no, like there is a limit on space. It does cost money to store this shit, so it's like and I do get it, right? As a gamer, like that's not our job. It's not our job to worry about that shit. We want what we want. Like I want these things, cool. Like regardless of its cost, which is whatever. It's fine to want these things. What I criticize people about is when they demand these things. If you want instance housing, or even though it does technically exist for both indoors and outdoors, okay. You want a large home? Great. It's fine to want a large home, but it's not Square Enix's fault for not designing the game around getting you a large home. People have large homes. There are a lot of large homes. Well, not really a lot, but there are a lot of homes. We have and they constantly add new wards and stuff. So it's not even just like, oh, they only have 12 wards per housing district and that's it. And Like, no, like, there were 12 wards, and then they added a second half of the ward, and then they added more wards on top of it. So it's just like they keep adding wards over time. And I do get it, right? Like, it's probably not increasing at a rate that matches the demand or influx of new players. But, like, it's just what it is. And then, like, you get some people, like, I've had some streamers complain that they let their subscription lapse and they lose their home. And they complain about that. I'm like, well, yeah, no shit. Like, of course you lose your home. And then you get the people who complain and try to bring up Yoshi P's words out of context, where Yoshi P says, "Yeah, you can quit the game anytime you want. Like, you don't feel compelled to, keep your subscription live. Like, renew your subscription when you want to play the game, and if you don't feel like playing the game, you can stop and go off and do other things. Let your subscription lapse and come back later." But then you get people warping that to be like, "But Yoshi P says I don't need to keep my subscription, but I do need my subscription if I want my home." It's just like, well, if you value your home, then yes. Like, Yoshi P says, yes, we've designed the game in a way that you don't need to feel compelled. And you don't need to feel compelled, but you're the one compelling yourself with your desperate need to keep your home. Like, that's what's so crazy about it, where it's just like, it's these people who are creating the reason for it. Like, creating the reason, they're the ones that feel compelled because of this arbitrary reason, and somehow that's Square Enix's fault. Where it's just like, and because they blame Yoshi P, and they're like criticizing, "Oh my god, I can't believe I lost a home." But it's like, well, think about it from a Square Enix perspective. So you're saying that even after you're not paying a subscription, Square Enix is expected to. Okay. Even though you're not paying your subscription, Square Enix is expected to save your home, prevent other active players from purchasing a home, so that you can keep your home forever. Like, that costs actual storage, that costs server space, like, that costs money for them to do this, and you want them to foot the bill for that while you're not paying them, right? You're not paying the subscription, but you want to keep your home anyway. It's just like, it's crazy how entitled some people are. Thinking this shit. It's just like, no, it's, and from their perspective, it makes total sense. It's like, no, like, they have the game. Like, if you have a home, if you're not gonna go into your home once every 45 days, then, like, you're obviously not actively playing the game, right? So why should an active player in the game be deprived a home so that you, a non-active player, can hold on to it? Like, I find that to be incredibly selfish to think that, right? I understand that I have my home. I have my FC home. I have my personal home. I have a large personal home. So it's like, I have a good home. So I'll probably be playing the game for the rest of my life, simply to keep that home. But I would understand that if I don't get to it in time, and I let my subscription lapse for a year, and I come back, I will be disappointed, because getting that large home back, or getting a large home again, will be very, very hard, next to impossible, especially where I was. Well, it would be impossible where I was, because now it's a FC only zone, FCA only ward. But getting that large home in Shirogane would be very difficult, because it's a great plot. I would argue it's the best plot in the game. But anyway, so it's like, you get people complaining. It's just like, yeah, and I get it it's from a gamer perspective. It's like, it's from your perspective. So I understand from your perspective, yes, this is the way you want it, and this is what you like. And it's fine if you want these things, but, like, to expect them, I think that's where you get entitled. It's like, no, you're demanding things that the game never promised, and then criticizing the game for not having it. It's just like, no. If the game has it, great. But you need to understand, what does the game offer? And is what it's offering worth it for you? Is what it's offering for you what you want? And if it's not, then play something else. If the game's not offering what you want, it's not the game's fault for not offering what you want, right? Like, for instance, you get a lot of people who play Souls-like games, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's not as difficult as I want. I want a more difficult game." And it's like, okay, but, like, did the game ever promise that sort of difficulty? Like, it's fine to want these things, and if that's a criteria you have for your games, difficulty, then sure. Like, if it's like, if If you have to play, if you only want to play hard, difficult games, then sure. Like if it's not difficult, then yeah, then this is probably not the game for you. But like that's it. You should just temper your expectations for what the game is offering, and it's not the game's fault for not being tailored to you. You just got to take that into your consideration to see whether or not you would enjoy this game based on what your requirements are. And you just get people who don't like that. They're like, no, other people are playing this game, so I want to play this game, but this is clearly not a game that's designed for me or a game that I would particularly care for, and then you should get people shitting on it. Like, no matter how good the game is, like, people like Baldur's Gate 3, right? You look at the user score for Baldur's Gate 3, it's like 8.9, which is still good, still good, 8.9, but like, it's not in the nines. Why? Well, because there are aspects to that game that just some people don't like, right? Like, not everyone likes a tactical turn-based RPG system, right? Or a tactical turn-based, strategy game, right? Like, that's just, some people just don't like that, right? Some people might, be like, oh, well, I don't like games that are that long. I prefer something a little shorter, right? It's not a fault for the game for being that long. It's not a fault for the game for being a tactical turn-based, strategy game. But like that's the market it's trying to go for. So it's like, yeah, just, you gotta be aware of these things, and don't turn your expectation, like, don't insult the game for not meeting your expectations when your expectations are unreasonable. It's just that most people don't want to admit that their expectations are unreasonable, and they are the center of their own universe, and everything has to revolve around them. And if their expectations aren't met, then clearly it's the game's fault, not their fault. Like, Final Fantasy 16 had that problem too. It advertised it as exactly what it was, and it provided exactly what it advertised, but you get people complaining about the things it never promised based on their expectations from other games. Unreasonable expectations. And you might be like, well, why would you think a Final Fantasy game wouldn't be like a Final Fantasy game? It's like, well, what two Final Fantasy games are identical? None of them. Every single one changed something between games. No two are identical. No two share all the same systems. So every single game has released and has been different. And yet you're like, people say, well, but I can't believe 16 came out and it's different. It's like, yeah, no shit, it's different. Every single game has been different. Like, you're just like, yeah, but I want this aspect to be the same. It's like, but like that aspect is not even there in all Final Fantasies. Also, like, the fact that it's changing between a turn-based game and an action combat game is also incredibly different, right? Like, you're not going to need or want the same things that a turn-based game has because you're not a turn-based game. So shit like that, So I do find that kind of frustrating, where it feels like some criticism is unfair, and it's just a criticism based on their own, based on a person's expectations not being met, but their expectations were unreasonable to begin with. But no one will ever want to accept that. But anyway, that's enough of ranting and enough thing. I for some reason I was thinking I was going to get a shorter alliance raid, so I could do the alliance raid and then also another trust dungeon, but that ended up taking much longer, not only to queue, but to actually do it. Because I got one of the longer ones to actually do. So I'm just going to do that. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.